Hey everyone, it's Temi. Welcome back to my channel, and if you're new here then please do subscribe down below if you'd like to see more content from me. So today I'll be talking about my journey into tech and how I got into it, just because I haven't really gone into detail about it on my channel yet. This is the second video in my Break Into Tech series, and this video is a bit more of a personal storytime video. So if you're looking for something more informational, then I'd suggest you go and check out the other videos on my channel. In terms of what I do, I'm currently a graduate software developer on a technology graduate scheme at a large telecommunications company in the UK, but I'll go a bit more into depth about what my role is a bit later on. I've always been a very analytical and logical person for the most part. I took an interest in STEM at a young age, which was largely influenced by my parents, who are Nigerian. If anyone's familiar with Nigerian culture, then you'll know that for parents, in their eyes, the kind of only acceptable career paths to go down are like medicine or engineering. So obviously I was heavily influenced by this and took an interest in STEM. Early on in school, I initially wanted to become a doctor and study medicine. And this is also because my school friends at the time were also looking to pursue careers in medicine. And because I generally wasn't aware of other career paths apart from law, engineering, and medicine, it was a lot easier to go along with what my friends wanted to do and just listen to them, as opposed to really just think for myself. During my A-levels, I actually didn't get the grades for medicine, which was a blessing in disguise. And from then on, I actually changed my degree choice from medicine to biomed, and then biomed to pharmacy, and then pharmacy to geology and physics. So for those of you who aren't from the UK and aren't familiar with what A-levels are, they're basically the last 2 years of school before you go to university or college. And normally during these last 2 years, you'll pick what you actually want to study at university. Choosing geology might seem a bit random, but I chose to do it because it's a physical science. So it incorporates a lot of the fundamentals which you see in other sciences too. And I chose to minor in physics because I was good at it in school, and I just really wanted to keep my options open since I still had no idea what I wanted to do. So fast forwarding now to my undergraduate degree, where I'm majoring in geology and minoring in physics. I actually enjoyed the geology side of my degree more than the physics part, and I really started to struggle with just grasping the fundamentals of physics in my second year. And on top of that, this is where I learned Python for the first time, and it was introduced in one of my modules, but it wasn't taught very well. So at this point, I just really didn't like coding. I hated it. I thought it was really hard, and tech was not even on my mind. When it came to the end of my degree, I probably should have taken a year out to really think about what I wanted to do and maybe do an internship or something, but I didn't. I decided to apply for a master's in geophysics. I was basically using uni to not think about what I actually should be doing next. The summer before I started my master's degree, I did an internship at an engineering consultancy, working in a team that was loosely related to what I did at uni. And I'm actually really glad I did this internship, just because it emphasized to me that I really had to be doing a job and just be in a career that I genuinely liked and enjoyed. Just because after some time, sitting at a desk from 9 to 5, working on something that you really don't have much interest in gets old really fast. So between my breaks when I was working, I would actually spend some time researching different career options that were available to me as someone with a STEM degree. Because even though I was still going to do my master's, I definitely felt like I was making the wrong decision. I did have a gut feeling that was telling me to not do it and just defer for a year and figure out what it is I wanted to do. I did actually come across quite a lot of tech blogs on several different occasions. And on these tech blogs, I saw quite a lot of creative and interesting things that were going on within the industry that I wasn't aware of before. And at this point, I was definitely starting to take an interest in tech. I wouldn't say I was super keen to get into the industry at this point, but it was definitely on my radar. So following my internship, I started my master's degree that September. And even though at this point I knew that I shouldn't be doing it, I knew that I was making the wrong decision, and I really should probably use that year to figure out what it was I really wanted to do. And as a side note, I do know that it's very apparent that I was doing things even though I hated them, and that's definitely something that I've realized and I've changed. Life is just way too short to be doing things that make you miserable. It's probably no surprise, but during the masters I didn't really enjoy any of the modules apart from a computational module where I was introduced to a programming language called MATLAB, and we use that for data visualization. But even though I did enjoy the coding, I wasn't very good at it. In fact, a lot of the class did struggle with the module. But even though it was hard, I still did enjoy it. And to me, that kind of sent a clear message that tech is the place I should be. It's definitely a feeling that I hadn't had before in my kind of educational journey. It wasn't anything that I actually properly took an interest to whilst growing up in school. This was really a clear message to me that I definitely wanted to go into a career where I could use coding and code on pretty much a daily basis. Once I decided that I knew I wanted to go into tech, I did actually contemplate dropping out of the masters and just leaving, but I didn't, as I was gaining a lot of skills that I knew would be valuable to me down the line. So what I ended up doing was applying to tech grad schemes just because I knew that it would give me the opportunity to explore different parts of tech, because even though I did like coding, I still didn't know what I wanted to do with it. And even though I knew I wanted to code, I wasn't aware of certain career paths like software engineering or DevOps or anything where I could use code in my day-to-day job. I knew that a technology graduate scheme would give me the opportunity to figure out what it is I wanted to do. After applying, I was actually fortunate enough to get onto a technology graduate scheme here in the UK. And even though I didn't have a good experience doing my master's, I don't regret what I did or staying and finishing the course. It did teach me that nothing is more important than your mental health and your peace of mind. I then started my technology graduate scheme last September, and the way that my grad scheme is set up is that we have 3 8-month rotations. So when I joined, I got to spend 8 months in a mobile networks team, so I got to learn a lot about how mobiles kind of work and 4G and 5G and things like that. And now I'm in a back-end software development team that specializes in API gateways and microservices, which I am really enjoying even though it's challenging. And my main stack at work is Java, Spring Boot, and JavaScript as well sometimes. The role is very challenging, especially as I don't have a strong IT or computer science background, but I did teach myself to code before going into the role, which really helped me. And if you want to find out more about how I did actually teach myself to code during this pandemic, then you can find the video on my channel. I will link it either up here or up here, so give that a watch if you haven't seen it already. So yeah, that was kind of my story on how I got into tech and transitioned into the industry without a computer science degree or any experience in the field beforehand. I just wanted to be honest and transparent about how I did it and show that everyone's journey is different. So don't panic if you think that either you've run out of time or if you believe that you don't have the skills to actually break into tech, because believe me, that's not true. Probably several videos like this on YouTube, everyone with a different story. So yeah, don't let it discourage you. And if you're looking for more informational and how-to videos, I do have a video about getting started with learning how to code and also where you can find free resources. I will leave the links to these in the description box below, so make sure to check it out. Thank you for watching and I'll see you next time.